Hey, Droop, Emil, Bimmy, we got the valve covers off of it now. We're going to crank it over and make sure all the rocker arms go up and down the same amount, you know, like there's no lobe off the cam or maybe a dished out lift or anything, but everything is intact. There's no push rods off, rocker arms are all on it. All the adjustments are the same. That's a good sign. That means that the one lobe ain't wore more than the other, or lifter wore, or anything. If all the adjustments are the same, there's nothing loose, that's a very good sign. They're all tight. They're all tight. They're oiling good. Okay. Now we're going to crank it around one at a time, make sure they all go up and down. And if you have a lobe off of the cam, especially an intake valve, that'll lower the compression of the motor. So let's just crank it around and make sure everything's working. Ready? Yep. Just bump it a little bit at a time. Let's do it. That ends up and down, 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 up and down. Let's do the other side. Everything's on this side. Nothing loose. Adjustments look identical to the other side. I love that. I think that's a good sign. Everything is nice and even in the motor, and if you find one at the stud sticking out further, that means something's wore. They had to tighten it down more to get the adjustment, but they look all to be the same, and they're oiling nice. Let's crank this around, see if we got them all up and down. Up and down. Yep. 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 Do it again one more time. Yep. Good. Now if you're looking on the push rod side of it, they only move about 200 to 250 thousandths, which is about a quarter of an inch. That means it's about a 400 lift cam, in around there. And even the hypo cams that were in these solid lifters, they were only 415 lifts. So they all went up and down even. That's a good sign. And if you didn't think they lifted high enough, that's because they didn't have much lift in 1959. So everything looks good. We have some low compression in the cylinders, and 2 on this side actually has 0. Number 2 and number 1 and number 5. And my opinion is that it's set so long that the rings probably froze onto the pistons, corroded. Cast iron against aluminum will corrode just as fast as anything. And as far as the marble mystery oil thing, I've heard of that, and yeah, it might work in some cases, but I believe this sets so long that the rings are very gilded to the pistons. And set of rings is not expensive for this, and we do have some gaskets for it from another project we had. So my opinion is just put rings in it and it'll be a good motor. It'll be a brand new motor. And it sets in 74. And when we got the motor, there was no oil in it, no antifreeze, and we pulled the pan off and it was clean and it looked good on the bottom end. We put the pan back on it, and that's all we know about it. And so you guys know about as much as we do about it, but I do think it's a good motor to rebuild. I do. It sounds good, it runs good, everything. As far as the rattle noise or tapping noise, I believe maybe a wrist pin maybe seized up also, corroded onto the wrist pin from setting dry all those years. So I'll call you here in a little bit, Bim, or Droop, and see what you want, and see what we're going to do next. So see you here in a little bit.